Okay.
Oop.
Nobody says okay. All right. Charade. It's a 1963 American film. It's a romantic comedy and a mystery. Produced and directed by Stanley Donen and written by Peter Stone and Marc Behm. And it stars Cary Grant, Audrey Hepburn, Walter Matthau, James Coburn, George Kennedy, and on and on. It's just a wonderful cast. So good. Suspense thriller, romance comedy. I loved how Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn played off of each other in this. And funny things were said between them. I don't know. They don't have them all listed, and I wasn't going to go back and watch it again to write them down, but it was quite amusing, especially when he was in the shower with his wash and wear suit, I guess, behind Jeff Copeland there. That was like, what are you doing? Oh, and behind Bill as well. So somebody said that this was the best Hitchcock movie Hitchcock never made.
Yeah.
So I thought that was okay. In 2022, the film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. It was originally based off of a book called The Unsuspecting Wife. The book did not do well with that name. They renamed it Charade, and it took off, and they made this film. So the gist of the story is there's these three buddies that are in the war, and they steal some money that's meant for I forget these names, the French resistance. It was $250,000, which is equivalent to 4.3 million in our money today. So they steal this. So then it doesn't get to the French resistance. So then the story is on, the chase is on. Who has it? Where is it? They get rid of one guy right off the bat. They throw him off a train. So that does him in. So there's three of them left. And then you have the guy that acts like he's from the United States and the Treasury Department and all of that. Well, he's just out to get the money for himself as well. So, oh gosh, just so many twists and turns. It's a lot of fun. The music, I'm sure you're all familiar with the song Charade by Henry Mancini, and the lyrics were by Johnny Mercer. So it's a beautiful song. It first debuted in September 24th of 1963 in Washington, D.C. And that was as a benefit for a group, pardon me while I find their name. I've got too many pages here. Oh, I can't find it. No, here it is. At the Palace Theater in Washington, D.C., and as a benefit to raise money to help low-income children to stay in school. And Ella Fitzgerald performed at this benefit. And according to Jet Magazine, $50,000 was raised, which is the equivalent to almost $500,000 today. So it did very well as a benefit. So Cary Grant turned 59 during the filming of this, and Audrey was 33, and he was very sensitive about the 25-year difference between them, and he was uncomfortable with their romantic interplay that they had. But in order to address that, the filmmakers agreed to add dialogue that made his character just a little more, I don't know the word to say.
Aware. Yeah.
Yeah, a comment on his age. And then they made Regina, Audrey, she was portrayed then as the pursuer. So that kind of got him off the hook for being so much older. And I did read somewhere else that this was the last romantic film that he made. He made others, but this is the last one that had any kind of romance in it. course, it was all shot in Paris. I've never been there. Donna loves it. Ken could tell us all about it. Excuse me just a second. As far as the reviews go, Rotten Tomatoes had a 94% approval rating based on 54 reviews, and the consensus reads, a globe-trotting caper that prizes its idiosyncratic pieces over the general puzzle. Charade is a delightful romp with Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn's sparkling chemistry at the center of some perfectly orchestrated mayhem. So I thought, oh, yeah, that's good. So some of the other reviews are, well, we didn't like this film, whatever. It was up for Academy Awards only for Best Song. Nominated, but did not win. It did win, Audrey did, in the British Academy Film Awards for Best British Actress. But basically that was it, other than a couple Edgar Allan Poes, and it didn't win so many awards, but yeah, I think it's a classic, in our film history, and apparently the Library of Congress thinks so as well. So
I had a question.
Yeah.
The version I watched it on Amazon Prime, was in color.
Yes.
But everything I've seen, like the trailers and the stills, like what's behind you, Chris, are all black and white. So I'm assuming that it was filmed black and white, and it just got colorized later. Is that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, because I watched the colorized version as well, but yeah,
Does anybody know?
I don't know. I mean, I've always seen the colorized version, I think, but
Yeah, it doesn't look colorized to me, but
okay.
the colors seem to look true.
Okay.
As opposed to,
and color had been
but I
out
don't know
for
for
quite a
fact.
while.
I know. I just, like I said, what maybe he asked the question was because of all the,
Yeah, I
like
get
the
it.
still that's
Right.
behind Chris, but other stills that I saw, and I thought the trailer, but I'm not, now I'm questioning myself, but just enough that I'm like, and then I'm like looking at it, and and like you said, Mike, it didn't have that kind of weirdo colorized look.
Oh,
to it.
yeah.
Like, well, then maybe they're more sophisticated than like when Ted Turner first started doing that, 20-something years, 30 years ago, when the first things that got colorized just looked really weird.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah. In that photo behind me, she's poking him in the chin and asking him how he shaves that area. How do you shave that?
I know.
They just poke back and forth at each other throughout the entire movie. It makes it a lot of fun. So
I'm looking at an article that said, for director of photography Charles Lang, the color photography of the suspenseful chase film was a stimulating challenge, since a great deal of the action was photographed against the actual Parisian backgrounds and Les Halles, etc. So it sounds like it was color.
Okay.
good question. Yeah. Bonus points for Karen.
Well, the fact that she was put in a position of being the pursuer, I thought was one of the more awkward parts of the movie, where she kept coming on to him, and I couldn't figure out exactly why. And if it was just
Cary Grant.
But Gary, it's Cary Grant, for God's sakes.
Cary.
Oh my God.
is that enough?
If he-
Is that enough?
Yeah,
Oh my,
pretty much.
that's all.
Yeah, the short
That's
answer
all.
is
Look at
yes. That's enough.
Okay,
That is plenty.
That's right. Yeah.
there you go.
No, I see where you're coming from, because I like their comic chemistry was great, but the romantic chemistry was a little, and when Chris said, he was uncomfortable, it's like, that's what I'm seeing. That's sort of what's running underneath.
Yeah,
Well,
what
she
I
kept
had read is that,
She kept getting lied to, and still,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
constantly,
I'm
yeah.
taking notes.
But that was,
She likes-
that's why
so-
the ending was so cute, when she named all his names.
Yeah.
And she didn't
Yeah.
care, because it was Cary Grant. But the what I had read too, what Chris had already said, is that he was asked twice to play this, and he said absolutely not, absolutely not. He would look like, a dirty old man going after this young woman. That's when they switched it around so that she's the one that's going after him now. And you can see that from the very beginning, when the repartee between the two of them is even cued on when they're skiing. It's just it just starts right from there.
Yep.
I actually did think that this was a Alfred Hitchcock. I was like, oh my God, Stanley Donen, that's Singing in the Rain. And I thought for sure it was Hitchcock. I was, it's a single word as the title, Psycho, Vertigo, Rope, all of those, single word. It's Cary Grant, it's Audrey Hepburn. I mean, it's just like, I was sure, and I was just shocked that it was, that all this time I thought it was Hitchcock, and it was Stanley. So that was kind of interesting just for me. And it really does remind you, I think, of a Hitchcock film. I mean, there's a lot in it. I read somewhere that the opening scene, where or that I don't, what do you call it? With the
Titles?
thing, whatever. It was that circular
The
thing.
geometric. Yeah,
Yeah,
the geometric thing.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kind of a nod to him in Vertigo and those. So yeah, it was even Hitchcock thought it was good. I read something that Hitchcock wrote about it and he liked it.
Well, the titles and the music reminded me of an early James Bond movie.
Yeah, yes, and it's true. That yeah.
Well, it came out at about the same time the Bond series started. So
yeah. Actually, just an aside, there's a documentary on the original James Bond, who probably nobody knows, George
Lazenby.
Canterbury, I think his name is.
Lazenby, I thought, wasn't it?
What's it? Is it
Lazenby? George? No, maybe I'm wrong.
That sounds right.
Well, it's George. I don't remember his last name because the original James Bond. So, and there was a documentary out on that. But you're right, it does have that feel too, Gare. But I thought Audrey is just her. She's so gorgeous, and then to match that with the Givenchy clothing. Oh, please, you can't. She's so timeless. It's just timeless, and him too. The two of them are just two really pretty, timeless characters.
I'm always fascinated.
Loved the settings, of course, in Paris.
I'm always fascinated by pop culture from that era because it's right before an assassination, right before Beatles, right before all sorts of things, and there's some innocence that and I'm in 1963. I'm 10 years old, and my family never went to the movies. But I'm imagining if my parents had gone to a rom-com, this would have been their version of getting a babysitter and going to see a rom-com. So I'm, to me, it's like a very innocent period in time where you could do a movie like this.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I remember thinking, well, it is, because they could never do it that way now. It is dated from and I guess that's a good way to put it, innocence. Because, I mean, when someone is trying to murder you, usually you don't have that cute repartee, as, those are the kind of things that after Kennedy was the same. I don't think that they kind of changed that all around. Anyway. But anyway, I of course loved it.
See, I didn't know. What I had read was that it premiered in Washington in early December of 1963. I didn't know, Chris, about no, he premiered in New York in December of 1963, and I didn't know about the Washington premiere. And so I was under the impression that it was literally 2-3 weeks after the Kennedy assassination, and the country was still reeling from that. So
and that could be the case, but imagine having delivered that film in the middle of that dark moment.
Oh yeah.
So it said that they changed one of Audrey's lines. She had a line that was, "At any moment we could be assassinated." And it was overdubbed with, "At any moment we could be eliminated." And that was because of the assassination.
Wow.
That they covered that. Yeah.
Mm.
Chris, how did you pick this? Had you seen it before? Did you just pluck it out of the air?
Yes and yes. Actually, I remember seeing this movie, going to the drive-in theater with my parents, and we saw it there. And so I would have been, probably summertime, I don't know, maybe almost 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. And it just always stuck with me, the part where they start running through that area where all of the stamps are. And I remember even as a kid, I went, oh my God, that's where the money is. And I don't know why that stuck with me. And I don't know, Gary.
They still have those markets,
Do they?
now, which are great. They're not more books. It's more book, mostly books.
Books of
And
stamps.
flea
yeah.
market, you know.
Yeah, rather
Yeah.
than selling the actual things that are worth hundreds of
Yeah,
thousands.
millions.
Speaking
I'm
of
interested because I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
no, that's all right. You go ahead.
Nope.
Well, I was just going to say, speaking of the stamps market, and also with Walter Matthau and with a couple of other things, it just felt like they tipped their hand too soon. You saw what was from the get-go. You're like, oh, Walter Matthau, he is not what he says he is. He's one of the bad guys. You knew it right away. And I don't know if it's because we're used to a more sophisticated kind of screenplay that really, best thing that they hid was that, Cary Grant, for whatever name you want to give him, was actually a treasury agent. That was that they did not tip. Everything else, it felt like, they tipped it too
perfect.
soon. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of my. That was one of my two, sort of, a little bit disappointing was the fact that there wasn't much romantic chemistry between the two leads. The comedy, oh my God, when they were passing the orange, that game.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm wetting my pants. I'm laughing so hard. Which is hard to do these days. No. But I know, I was laughing out loud. LOL was like not just a, acronym. I was literally laughing at because I hadn't seen this movie in decades, so I didn't remember very much. And maybe that's why they tipped their hand, because I had seen it probably 40 years ago or whatever, 50 years ago.
Yeah. And you were probably more innocent. Yeah.
Well. Not 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
Hey, Karen, do you think the fact that Matthau's prominence in his career as it developed also was a tell for you? Because
I didn't think about that, but you might be onto something. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. He has been in so many and very different, varied roles. He was in my head. I'm sure it's like big of a star to just be the that's a good point.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you figured it out from the beginning?
Yeah. Right when he first comes on, you're just like, something stinks here. And then I didn't know that he was Niall, been left for dead, but I knew he was not what he said he was.
And what about the rest of you? Did you figure it out from the beginning?
No, I didn't.
Well, I had seen it.
No.
So again, looking at it now, like Karen says, looking at it now with completely different eyes than you would when you're, 10, 11, 15, whatever. Yeah.
I think Joan watched it and she said Walter Matthau is not a good bad guy. She figured it out.
Yeah, well, that's Joan. Joan's freaking smart. I love that about her.
Had you guys not seen that before? You'd never seen it?
I never had.
Oh, wow.
You got to remember, I was raised in a movieless household where the idea of being taken to the drive-in or the theater, this was not part of my upbringing. No.
Mhm.
It's all new to me.
Jeff Arthur, our youngster there who turned 61 yesterday. Happy birthday
Oh,
to you.
the
Wow.
young
Happy
whippersnapper.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think?
Can you hear me okay on these phones?
To speak loud, you're muffled. Now
Oh.
you're muted.
Yeah, he does have a,
Jeff, we can barely hear you.
uh-oh.
Play with my settings and see if I can get them to work.
Oh, there.
Oh, better, better.
You're
Yes.
better now.
Okay,
Yes.
that's because I turned off the iPod or AirPods, but yeah, I'd never seen it before. I'm kind of curious what happened with Audrey Hepburn because I looked her up just here real quickly and she didn't die super young, so I
No,
don't remember really seeing her in
My
a lot
Fair
of movies
Lady.
in my movie watching time.
Yeah, I had the same
Wow.
question written down. I was like, we kind of followed these actors through. I mean, James Coburn, we saw him in a lot of Westerns and stuff like that. But what happened to Audrey Hepburn?
Well, I mean, she did The Nun Story. She did My Fair Lady. She did.
That was the 60s. My Fair Lady was the 60s.
Was
Sabrina
there anything
was
like
the
in
50s.
the
Breakfast
80s?
at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
No, I didn't she like get it. I think she had enough money. Did she marry well? I forget what it was, but she
Well,
did.
she ended up as
yeah, she did a
U.S.
lot of
ambassador, right? She ended up as U.S. ambassador for, well, she was a U.S. ambassador for UN, I believe. That's how
You're
she
not-
ended.
You might be confusing her with Shirley Temple.
I think you are.
No, I mean, they both were. I think
Really?
or maybe she was the head of UNICEF. She was
Yeah, she
in
did
one of those
charitable work. I
positions.
don't think she was an ambassador, but she
But
did a
was kind
lot
of
of
a
charitable
she
work.
was kind of a supernova. I mean, she had a lot, and then she kind of faded away. Yeah.
If
And
she-
Gigi, oh my God, there were so many. And when I think of her, I think of so many. Roman Holiday, Gigi,
But
boy.
those are all from the 50s and 60s. They're not
Yeah.
70s and 80s.
Well,
yeah.
Nun Story, I think, is later, isn't it?
No, I think that's
And
a
Wait
60s
Until
movie.
Dark is later.
No, I think that's a 60s movie too.
Is it?
Yeah,
Wait
I
Until
think so.
Dark?
Yeah, because I think it's
Wait until dark.
Wait Until Dark
67.
is one of the movies that Alan Arkin did not too long after the Russians are coming.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, maybe, yeah, yeah, maybe she didn't do anything after the 60s.
So Jeff, that's a good question. We have no idea what happened to her.
Well,
No.
I mean, the Wikipedia says that she went into did more things with her family, and then she got involved with UNICEF.
Oh, it was UNICEF. Okay.
I've also seen on her filmography she only did 4 movies after 1967, and that was
Okay.
the year she did Wait Until Dark too.
When did she pass
Anyway,
away?
it was an okay movie. It wasn't, super great, but it
I
held
think,
my
I think
attention.
she died in the early 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds about
93.
right.
From appendix cancer.
Wow,
That's what Quick Fact says here. Yeah.
that's a little unusual.
Yeah. She had 2 children. She was 5'7". I didn't realize she was that tall. Well, it's tall for me at 5'4". So, yeah.
Well, she was always thin because, the Nazis. She was in, I guess it was Paris or Belgium. I'm not sure that she was, her and her mother escaped. But up until that point, they were scrounging for food. So I know when she got to England, I believe, and she always wanted to be a dancer, and that's what she trained for. As a ballerina, and in her movie Funny Face, she does a number of dance, and wearing things that I laugh at is that she's wearing the capri pant with ballet slippers that they wear today, that's in style now, and she was wearing it back then, but yeah, she's pretty amazing woman from the get-go.
Her last movie was in 1989. Was a Steven Spielberg movie called Always, and it got not very good ratings.
I don't even remember that.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
She was in
No,
one
me
called Robin and Marion about
yeah, it was
Robin
Sean
Oh,
Hood.
yeah,
Connery?
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that movie. Yeah.
76.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
What
And
was it
didn't she
about?
do one with the
Ro-
married couple that were having problems? Was that in the, that might have been 60s as well. I don't know.
What was Robin
Um,
Marion about?
It was
It
was like
Robin Hood.
late life Robin Hood and Maid Marian.
Maid
Okay.
Marian.
It says-
yeah, it was after the Knights of the Round Table, or after Ivanhoe and all that sort of stuff. It's how they were living the back half of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, the comment is Robin Hood, aging none too gracefully, returns exhausted from the Crusades to woo and win Maid Marian one last time.
Yeah.
At a 55 plus community, right?
Is that the Villages?
Go to the
No.
early bird special.
Blue plate special.
Early Falcon special. How's that?
Yeah.
You know, Always was actually a pretty good film. She just had a small part in it, but it was Holly Hunter and Richard Dreyfuss. And
Oh.
I just vaguely remember what it was about. Something happened to him, and that's the Always part. He died or something.
Spirit of a
Oh,
recently
yes,
deceased
yes.
pilot mentors a newer pilot while watching him fall in love with the girlfriend that he left behind.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Ghost in a way.
She must
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Huh.
And
But
she
not as good.
might have played the mom or something like that.
You may
Yeah.
have to watch that. Okay. Anybody else have anything? Karen? What do you
No,
want?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at my things I jotted down. I think one way or another we've talked about almost all. There was a couple of lines I did like. Was it? I wrote it down. Oh yeah. When he gets gets in the fight and the back of his coat gets slashed and he's bleeding and she's going to take care of it. And she says, I've got something that stings like crazy. And he says, you're the kind of girl that would have things like that. And her reply is, it's going to hurt you more than it hurts me. I'm like, well, okay then. Let's see where this is going. But they delivered the lines so well. It was hilarious. I
They
even
did.
backed up the move, backed it up of 2 minutes and watched it again. I'm like that. Their comic timing was awesome. They're just like the kiss on the barge was even just like,
Yeah, it was.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I do remember all
And it's
through the
Cary
thing,
Grant, for God's sakes. Yeah.
all
Jimmy
through the
Ford.
thing, he's calling her child.
Yeah.
You're going, he acts like he knows that he's the father figure here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he calls her child and quit acting like a child. And I'm going to give you a spanking and that kind of stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to go there.
Yeah,
Pair
well.
that up with the whole thing
Not
with
that kind
the,
of
yeah,
spanking.
with the pain, and I'm like,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, at some point, she's patching him up, and he says something like, I just came here for the estimate or something like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's so many good, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
I liked it when she would say, is there a Mrs. Joshua or is there a Mrs. Dial or Mrs. Canfield? And then when she goes into the treasurer's office and asks for Mr. Crookshank,
Yeah.
and it's him. I was like,
Yeah. What an awful name.
that
And
was-
I read too that I had read that the reason why that they had him showering with his suit on is because he was 60 years old and a little bit overweight. Nobody wanted to see that much sagging flesh, I guess, on the screen. That's all I can figure.
Wow.
Whoa,
Well,
harsh.
Copeland, you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was hilarious. I tried to get my wife to watch it with me, and she said no. And then I asked her about that. She said, well, as a kid, the only thing she got to do, because her parents were older and they lived out kind of on a farm, was on Saturday she got to watch old movies all day. And she's still up to here with the old movies and just didn't want another bit of it. So I said, you missed it, because she likes mysteries and things like that.
Yeah.
And but her choice. Anyway,
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. I was interested in reading through the Wikipedia thing that some of the critics said that the violence was too coarse and rough. And I thought, wow. Oh
We have
man.
come along.
Among other things, the decorum
Days of
between them.
Innocence.
Yeah. And I always think it's interesting when somebody knowingly goes up and kind of flirts with somebody to kind of gain their confidence and so forth. That theme has happened over and over and over in movies, and Cary Grant pulled that off really well in The Alps. And apparently he knew that she was there, and he went over to make that contact with her, not by accident. But I was sucked right in by that. I just thought, well, this guy's pretty charming, and he sees this cute girl, and so he's interested in that. But no, there was an undercurrent going on there. But he obviously he enjoyed himself, and he was kind of a James Bond guy in terms of how he fought with people. And that scene on the roof with George Kennedy was pretty intense.
Yeah, it was.
The hook was a nice touch too.
Yeah. Yes.
They opened the suitcase. Oh, it's what's his name's extra.
Yeah. Well, you can't go anywhere without it. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's they have different functions. Yeah.
Well, when
Why
they
do you
did
need such a
show,
big suitcase for it?
yeah,
It's this huge
Yeah.
suitcase with his little hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when they showed the James Coburn murder, and he's got the plastic wrap over his face and his eyes are still open, that was a little bit like more gruesome than anything had been up to that point. So that might have been got the critics of the time to think it was over the top.
Yeah, possibly.
Well, and what they it was a pretty vivid image of the other bad guy with his throat slashed in the elevator too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
yeah.
which one that one is.
Bill, did you like it? Had you seen it before?
I'd never seen it before, huh? No, I liked it. It was fun. It's fun to watch and all that. I really liked watching all the supporting cast. It was fun to see a lot of those people. I was looking at Walter Matthau, but he was in the middle of his career, but it might as well have been at the beginning of his career for what I knew about him. But
Yeah.
James Coburn and all those guys, I thought, it was fun to watch them do their craft. I enjoyed it. I was thinking though, I think Chris was saying something earlier, like he couldn't see it or something, but how did that work? Once a film came out, when would like our parents be able to see that film after it left the theaters? Would they play it on TV at nights or?
It went to the
Well,
doctor.
years later.
Yeah, right.
Not as
Any
much.
years
I don't
later?
think I don't think they had like NBC movie night and all that sort of stuff until 5 or 6 years later. I mean, there were local stations that did movies, but I don't think there was a plethora of movies on TV.
Well, remember Saturday they would have Sherlock
Saturday night at the
Holmes and-
movies.
Saturday Night at the Movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
that's
they
the
would
series
have
I'm talking about.
Charlie Chan and Sherlock Holmes, and then they did lots of the old. That's where I saw all the movies were, on TV. I even saw Citizen Kane, on TV the first time. So
They
That's-
didn't go back to the theater, did they?
Saturday night at the movies was the only movies, and then it seems like once a year they would show the Wizard of Oz around Easter or something.
Yeah, right.
The Wizard of Oz, and It's a
Saturday night at the
Wonderful
movies.
Life.
That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
it.
Wonderful Life. Yeah.
Well, they weren't even
They
showing A
showed-
Wonderful Life for a long time.
Say again, Mike?
They weren't even showing It's a Wonderful Life for a long time. That's been a function of the last, 25 or 30 years. And and I'm referencing when we were much younger people. It's a Wonderful Life was not a holiday staple, but The Wizard of Oz at Easter. That's when I remember it being broadcast.
I remember it at Thanksgiving.
Remember what?
Could be Thanksgiving or Easter. It was a holiday
The
anyway.
Wizard of Oz would be on at Thanksgiving because we'd have to watch it with my dad because my mother was working at the hospital. And so we'd get Thanksgiving dinner ready while she was working, and that movie would be on. And of course, as a young child, it just terrorized me.
The Flying Monkeys, yes.
Oh my God, yes, and more. Yeah.
Did you stream it or did you how'd that go?
No, I'm probably in black and white on some old thing that you had to get out and manually change the channel.
Vertical hold and horizontal hold, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
tinfoil around the rabbit eaters so you could get the
Reception.
I'm with you, Chris. Those flying monkeys scared the shit out of me. I still have bad dreams about them.
But remember, it started out in black and white, and then when she gets to Oz, it becomes color. It's that I just think it's great. I
But
love
you
it.
have to have a
still
color
watch it.
TV. You have to have a color TV to enjoy
Right.
it.
Well, we did.
Yeah.
Mhm. We were
I
one
can
of the
believe
first
that
on our block. Yeah.
Oh, you're part of the
Oh,
1%.
oh,
Yeah.
you're the
Yeah,
last
1%. No, my uncle worked for Sylvania,
Ah,
if you
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually, I had dreams about the movie too, and I had morphed the monkeys into the Tin Man with a little propeller coming out of his head, and then there was a swarm of them flying over my hometown. So, and I wasn't even taking anything.
I was going to say, drugs
Yeah,
were good
really,
back then.
yeah.
Wow.
Good.
Wow.
Were you?
Yeah, that is right out of a psychedelic.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I remember reading somewhere that Frank Behm went to West Point and hated it and dropped out of West Point. And his sort of, he made the Flying Monkeys costumes to look like plebe cadets from West Point. Has kind of just West Point.
Yeah.
Like left, right, left,
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
Oh, now I remember to be sure and see Wicked.
Oh, I loved Wicked. Oh my God. Loved Wicked. Oh, you mean the movie, the new movie?
The movie, yes.
Yeah, I've seen the
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, I have too. I saw it here. It's been several years ago, and even my son loved it. He goes, "Oh, Mom, it's so because this is about this and that," and he put it all together long before I did. Oh, okay.
It was
There's
really
a-
good. Yeah.
There's a movie coming out.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a movie out, Wicked, and it's
It's already
about
out.
And based
it's
on the
about
play. Yeah.
sisters. Yeah, it's about the sisters,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to tell you anymore.
Well, it started out as a novel. It's
Yeah.
Well, no, it was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
takeoff from Wizard of Oz, and then Wicked is the sister. The Wicked Witch of the West is the sister that died, and this is the Wicked Witch of the East, or the Witch of the East. I won't call her Wicked. I believe.
I thought the witches were north and south, and the east and west were the good witches.
No, I believe
Glenda's from the north.
No, the North and South was the good ones.
Yeah,
Really?
They're sisters.
Yeah.
There, you'll have to watch it.
Yes, because are you a good witch or a bad witch?
They were
I know.
numbered with odd numbers,
Yeah.
whereas the bad witches were even numbers.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary,
Yeah.
I can't believe all these old
Gary,
Yes.
and that the networks couldn't figure out a way to get them on TV. So we didn't even see it till it became a VHS tape in 1972 or something. I don't know, when did VHS tapes start?
What, Charade?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I've got something on that here. Flip through
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead,
yeah.
Jeff. What were you
Commercial
asking?
VHS tapes. I don't remember seeing home models until 60, 76, 77, like that. Maybe they were around, but I didn't know anybody that had them.
There was
Gary, I was curious what it was about in your family that you weren't allowed to watch movies.
Oh, I
Was
wasn't
it
allowed
like a
to.
religious thing, or
Oh, yeah, I was religious. I couldn't go to theaters, couldn't go to dances. My folks wouldn't even let us play cards.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, very, very buttoned up, buttoned down existence.
what
So-
kind of religion is that?
My parents played cards every week. We went to the movie. Well, we didn't go, but we always watched old movies. And of course, we had a party every week. So, and
So a
played the piano.
house full of
So
sinners.
exact opposite.
Yeah, you're a bunch of sinners. I got you.
Mhm, yes, we were. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa.
And Catholic at that.
So part of Wikipedia talks about the fact that Universal Pictures omitted the words copyright or COPO or PR,
yeah.
the symbol, the C symbol, before 1978 U.S. law required works to include those words and symbols to be copyrighted. But because they failed to display that, the film entered into the public domain in the United States immediately on its release.
Ooh.
As a
Oh,
result, copies from film prints of varying quality have been widely available on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, blah, 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 from the Criterion Collection. And it's available for free to watch on YouTube. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know who their lawyer was, but he lost his job.
Ex-lawyer, former lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So
Well,
whose
thank you
turn-
all.
whose turn next week?
This is the fun. It's Karen's turn.
Well, I guess because Mike isn't going to be back by next week either, right?
Not that we know of.
We know. Okay. All right. Well, I did pick a movie. It's from 2004, Kinsey, and it's about Alfred Kinsey.
Oh,
It stars Liam Neeson and Laura Linney. And like I said, it's from 2004. And so, yeah, that's my pick for next week.
oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
All right.
And Karen, I just wanted to thank you because I started watching Slow Horses.
Oh, I did
And,
too.
Are you loving Gary Oldman?
Yes, he is
Disgusting. You would not want to be in the same
unbelievable.
room with him. You know, he stinks. But it's
Yes,
just like,
I
you
know,
watch
it's-
him on the
oh.
screen, you're like, yeah, you just want him to, win. You just want him to come out on top every time.
Yeah.
But no, but
I
don't come,
made it
don't come
through
near
the
me.
first season. Yeah, I made it through the first season so far. So yeah, I've enjoyed that as well.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm very glad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
And then another movie that I watched, I mentioned this last week, but you journalism types weren't with us. So I watched The Absence of Malice
Oh,
from
yeah, that's a good one.
1981. That was a good movie. Have you seen it? Paul Newman, Sally Field.
Yeah, that's a real good
That's-
one.
Never
I've
mind.
not- I've
Especially
not seen
any
it
journalist
in a
would.
long time, but
Yeah.
It rings a bell, but I can't remember anything about it.
Neither. Me
And-
neither.
Oh, it's yeah, it's
I
really
think Gary's-
she's a journalist
John
and he's an attorney, isn't it,
John
Chris?
Grisham book, isn't it?
No. it was
Absence
not
of
a
Malice?
Grisham book.
Oh, I don't know.
Absence of Malice.
no, because it's from like 80. I just look up. It's from 81. Grisham wasn't.
Yeah.
published
It's from
back.
1980. Gary, that's your pick for after Karen.
Well, I'm not here next
What?
Monday. I'm not here
Now
next
where are you
Monday.
going?
No, it'd be 2 Mondays.
Well, it'll be longer than that. I leave Monday for China. So
Oh
just
my
skip over me and
God.
I'll be back October 23rd. So whatever,
Wow.
I'll jump back in then.
Well, because
Okay.
Matt's still got to jump back in too at some point. So yeah. Well, it'll work out.
Okay.
You
Well,
came home to do laundry, Donna. That's the only reason.
Oh my God. Oh, China, that's going to be so. You've been there before?
Never. But you know,
Oh, wait.
we were on
I
the
hear they've got
cruise.
laundries there. You could have taken the dirty stuff with you. I mean, I hear
Yeah,
Good
it's
point.
easy to
I
pack.
never thought of
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome.
Load the dirty clothes in the bag.
There you go.
Yeah.
The cruise that we started the year on got
Well,
cut
tequila and
short,
Audrey.
and this is the we had credit, and so they offered us a China trip, so we're taking it.
Wow.
Oh, you're
Good
gonna
for
love
you.
China.
Have
But
you been?
learn how to get to the head of the line. They don't believe in queues. They don't believe in lining up for anything. So if there's wait, you'll see. It's just like this chaos.
What do Canadians do?
I know.
Because
Well,
they love to line up. They
even
love
Americans, and nobody is like them. They will just kill you to get in front of you. So
But you know what?
I've been to San Francisco. Yeah.
They're all at about elbow height, so they're all
Yes.
getting bruised in the forehead.
well, and the traffic. Do not when you're driving around when
I'm
you
not
got a
gonna be
driver.
driving,
You're
Donna.
not. Do not drive.
I'm not
When you have a
driving.
driver, make sure that you are in the back and that you don't have to watch.
Okay.
Don't even look out the windshield because you would be scared to death. There'll be women with children on a bicycle, on a motorized bicycle with no lights, jumping in front of buses, and it'll drive you crazy.
There's a good chance that
Don't even look out. And they all
if it's 7 o'clock, in the evening, it could be 7 o'clock in the morning. So I might be able to join you. I just don't want to pick a movie and try to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
push the meeting.
Sure.
But I'll try to
all right.
participate.
Okay.
Good.
That's cool. Wow.
So Mahoney, how's this election going to go?
She's got better than a puncher's chance now. I
Thank
think
God.
she's doing okay. I think this business in North Carolina may work to her advantage.
Yes.
Somewhat because I mean I don't know. Yeah, he's not only that, but basically the top 5 guys from his campaign, including his finance director, his campaign manager, communications, all that, quit on him today, and so he was in trouble anyway, and now he's pretty rudderless. And
what do you make of this Sun Belt thing where Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina is going to line up with Trump, but Pennsylvania, Michigan, it's like the old Nixon Southern.
Yeah, well, it is the Southern strategy.
It still is, yeah.
Yeah, it's been in place for since '64, really.
Yeah, ever since Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Harris has got a decent shot at North Carolina, and the D's Senate candidate in Arizona is up by double digits. So that's good. I mean, a lot of this, Pennsylvania still looks like it's going to be a really important state for both of them.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know, but I mean,
how many electoral college votes does Pennsylvania have? Has a lot, doesn't it? 19 or something?
20, around 20, I would think, maybe even more than 20.
And we're going to be counting votes in Georgia till like Christmas.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that's going to be crazy.
God.
Yeah.
Could be worse. It could be California, where even now, because of the way California counts, even uncontested federal races take days and sometimes weeks to resolve. It's just the way they do their system out there.
But it's not a
you know what they
state.
No, it's not. But if it were, and it could, and someday it could be, the way they've got it set up now.
Yeah,
it could be weeks.
In Florida now, what they did. Now I've been here 12 years or so, and ever since when I first registered to vote, of course, I registered for mail-in ballots. It's always been legal here,
right.
Mail-in ballots. This year, it's changed, and luckily, I happened to read something in the newspaper that in order to get a mail-in ballot now, you have to ask for one. I had to write to the Board of Elections to get a mail-in ballot. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I was just like, are you kidding? This year, they're changing it and you have to ask for it?
That varies from state to state. Okay.
Well, it
and
never,
based
but up
on-
until now, it's
Yeah,
up until this year, yeah.
But based on the vast audience of this YouTube video, everybody in Florida is gonna now know, Donna, that you have to ask.
Oh, that's
for
right. I
your
forgot.
ballot.
I forgot our
Thank you.
followers are
Thank
the
you for
entire
your
state
public
of Florida.
service.
All
Good.
13 of them, what is it? Yeah.
You
This
could
is
have made
the
it.
Donna Doyle PSA.
Right. Well, tomorrow is the first day you can.
One is 18.
Tomorrow's the first day you can vote early, and Joan and I are going to go vote tomorrow. So you've only got a
Good.
few more hours to change our minds, but we're going to go vote tomorrow.
Oh, yes, on Prop 3. Body autonomy.
And
Yeah.
which one is the lake casino one? Is that 2?
I
No,
think
that's
she was the
like,
gambler one.
Oh, that's,
She was
yeah,
the-
that's
no, well, there's two gamblers. One
There's 2 gamblers, that's right.
Yeah, the Amendment 2 is the sports book amendment in Missouri, and I think it's Amendment 7 is the casino.
Okay.
And the living in St. Louis, so I'm so close to Illinois, I'm fine with number 2, even though they're not going to give that money to education. Who knows where that money will go?
No
But right now
way.
it's going to Illinois. And so let them gamble here, for God's sakes. What do I care? I don't gamble,
You do.
Well,
I'm okay. It's like I can hold my nose and vote for Prop 2. Prop 3, yes, we have to pass Prop 3. Don't believe all that Josh Hawley.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
If they're going to mutilate our children.
I hate him.
I was
Oh
I
my
do.
God, it is so.
Mahoney. Do you
But
think
anyway,
Mahoney? Do you
body
think Prop
autonomy.
3 is going to give Kuntz a chance?
I don't think ballots work like that. Somebody on top can have coattails and say Kuntz could help Crystal Quaid, but I don't think ballot measures have whatever the opposite of coattails would
They
be.
get more people out, though, if they get out more vote. It has to be considerable, but I tell you, a lot of young women, at least I know, I'm in St. Louis, we're liberal, we're Democrat, we're the tiny little dot of blue. But there's women that I otherwise would be like, I don't know, I think they're all the same. There's 25-year-olds that are like, I'm voting for Prop 3.
Yeah,
So, we'll see.
Well, we'll see, but I don't think it translates up the ballot. I don't think.
Well, if they come out, they might just only vote for that and not do anything.
No, yeah, I
You're
mean,
right. But
there's a lot of that.
If they've had people like me, yakking at them, they're like, okay, I'll vote for that guy too while I'm there, or for Crystal Quaid especially. But
Right.
It's Missouri; they don't have a chance. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, Amendment 3 does.
Yeah, no, Amendment 3 is in great shape, Karen. It's up by 28 points. Okay.
Well,
All right.
I tell you, the Catholic churches are just going after it like you would not believe. It's
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
yeah.
blatant children. That's the.
Right.
Oh, I know.
Well,
It's
okay,
unbelievable.
the Catholic dioceses over here are not hitting it as hard as they are in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Okay?
Oh, I know. They're so conservative in St. Louis. There's
Right, and I was down at the Lake of the Ozarks over the weekend, and I saw 2 vote no on 3
okay.
billboards, and
You know what? I'm sure you guys have them in your states, but here, just not far from me, it's Trump stores.
we
Trump
got them here.
stores. Are
Oh,
they
yeah, I've
all
never seen
over?
'em.
What?
Yeah, they're stores. It's like the regular stores that you can buy all his junk in.
Well, remember,
You
Chris
know,
is
the
in Kansas
shoes
City.
and the not only just
The
cars,
other little
and their
tiny blue dot
storefronts.
in Missouri.
Yeah, that's right.
Tiny blue dot in St. Louis.
Right.
Tiny blue dot in
No.
Kansas City.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have-
there's at least one Trump store here in Metro Kansas City for sure.
Really? Where is it?
Sure, yeah.
It's out on 40 highway by the stadiums. It might be an Independence. It might be just on the Kansas City line.
I know somebody that bought the Trump sneakers
Oh,
in white
God.
and red. I was like, oh, are you effing kidding me? You did not do that. Oh, yeah, I did. And, blah, blah, blah. I said, are you going to wear them? you might get accosted. You shouldn't wear them. Oh no, I'm going to keep them in the box and save them because they might be worth something someday.
Right.
All right, whatever.
Aw.
I gotta go to dinner.
All right,
Go
yep,
Mizzou.
it's time.
Go Mizzou.
Okay,
Time.
those of
Yeah,
you that have
yeah,
a great
can you
trip,
believe it?
right, memorial service people, hang with me. The rest of you have a good dinner.
I'll see you.
Okay.
I'll be there.
right.
I'll be there. I've talked to Teague yesterday, and
Yeah.
I'll be there with
She
Jeff.
told me you're going to speak, so.
All right, guys. See you later.
All right, see you
Have a
later.
good trip.
Bye, all.
Okay, so yes, I spoke to Teague yesterday, and I was going to do something for the North Kansas City High School class of 1971, which Bill and Terry and Mike Matson, and of course our Mike Sanders. That was our graduating class from high school, and I wanted that recognized, but recognizing the fact that I couldn't get through anything like that without turning into a blubbering idiot, I turned to a fellow classmate that Mike Mahoney, you might know her, Katie McGuckin Woolham.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, Katie.
Yeah, so she was in our class, and I've engaged her to do the eulogy on behalf of our graduating class. And she said she's honored to do it. So I'll be getting with her a couple of times, but I put a post out on our class page on Facebook. If anybody has memories that they want to share, to email them to me. I didn't want to bombard Katie with any of this, and then we'll put all of that together so that she can give the speech. And she has a great story about Mike Sanders and her husband, who I think had some connection with Mike when he was working at Channel 5. What's his name? Woolham. I can't remember his first name right now, but a great story about they used to go fishing every year in Arkansas for trout, and they called it the Troutathon. And she tells the story so well that it's going to be fun to hear that. And then we'll acknowledge, some of the things that Mike did in the school he was in. Give me a second here. He was in student council and Boys Pep Club. He was a co-editor of our Per Gold yearbook, and that kind of stuff we want to talk about. But so that's one thing that I did yesterday. And when I get on a roll, look out. It's when I talk to Mike Matson, he goes, "That's for sure." To put you on something, it's like sick 'em. So I called BB's because Matson asked me if I would, so we could find out if Teague has had to put up any deposits or anything for this. And I talked to Jimmy, who I guess is the owner or one of the owners. And he said there's no deposit required at all to have that outdoor space that we're going to have. She's wanting soft drinks and some appetizers at the service, but nothing will be paid for until that day. So we got to figure out some way to get in there. There's a couple of people mentioned that they wanted to help cover those expenses. Other than that, if you have any of the barbecue or a beer or what have you, you're going to be on your own for that. But this Jimmy said, yeah, people do that a lot. They'll come in and say, I want to pay for this, so that, the widow and the family and all of that do not have to cover that charge. So she's counting on about 50 people, is the count that she's given BB. So,
any idea of what music will be there?
well, they play blues, but who's playing that day, I don't know. I haven't asked. There might be a calendar.
On Sundays, it's generally kind of an open jam, I think.
Yeah, well, we'll be there on Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unless you want to go, you can go back Sunday.
Well, I know it can. Okay.
That's up to you if you want to go back and visit then. So, but no, they're known for their blues.
So
Yeah,
how can we
their
contribute?
webpage we should have a calendar about what the music is.
Yeah. Jeff?
We'll be there in the afternoon, right? We won't be there like late.
Yeah.
Because usually if it's a blues club, they're not going to start.
I don't know what time
You
of
might
day.
have multiple artists though too, but yeah, usually if it's a
Jeff
Saturday night.
Arthur, you had a question?
I was wondering how we can contribute financially.
Once we get there, you just go tell them that you want to help pay and
Okay.
they'll take it at that time. They won't take it before. It's, no deposits or anything like that in advance at all.
I had another close friend die recently, and kind of a similar deal. And when we got there, we realized that that his daughter was paying for all this stuff, and people just started giving her money. I'd say be prepared to give some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Teague said she has it budgeted, and I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want her to know what we're going to try to do for her and the family. So
yeah, should be fine.
Well, and
so,
Chris was also saying that she was working on an angle to
for the Zoom call.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Katie also knows how to set that up. And she said, what we'll do is if we use our Zoom account, anybody that wants to participate, we aren't just going to throw it out there to the world. We'll send them an email with, the link and the password, and whatever you call it, so that they can join. But she said, yeah, she goes, I can set that whole thing up for you. So Bill will probably need to talk to her, Katie, and figure out, do we use like your laptop, blah, 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 how do we do all of that? And I'm supposed to meet with her a couple of times, but can I include you in that? We're going to go have lunch. You want to have lunch with the girls? Sure.
Yeah, if I'm around for sure. And
okay.
But yeah, no, absolutely. It'd be fun to see Katie again and see her for a while.
Yeah, and I told the guy at BB's, he said, well, that Teague had requested, some help with that. And I said, don't worry about it. We've got it covered. And of course, she is worried about it, but I want to make sure how we're going to pull this off and tell her, we're going to take care of this for you. And I kind of indicated that to her. So that's just one less thing she has to worry about. So I've been busy.
Yeah.
This stuff comes up when you don't have anything to do.
So I only live about 20 blocks from BB's Lawnside, and been there many, many times. If we get closer, you can use my house for staging, or anybody's got an emergency, can't find a place. I know that around here it's kind of hard to find a place to stay. There's B&Bs and stuff like that, to check out. But as far as a big hotel or anything like that, there's really South Kansas City. There's not much that way.
You don't have much south, but I got Jeff Arthur hooked up with a nice new place and plenty of places to eat around it. And Mike Mahoney, you know where that is, at Fairfield Inn.
Yeah.
Off of
Where is
North Oak there. It's off of North Oak and 68th Street, I'm going to say. Do you know where Summit Grill is in Gladstone?
Yeah.
Bill probably doesn't. Well, it's by that.
No, I've eaten there several times.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's right there. And so I'll have Karen staying with me. We'll load up, we'll go pick up Jeff unless he wants to drive over to my place, and we're going to carpool down then from up here. Probably leave at noon so we can help with any setup that we have to have.
I was in Kansas City last weekend, but actually just Thursday night.
Where did you end up?
I only got to stay one night, so yeah.
Where did you end up eating Thursday night?
Actually, I didn't. I starved myself, but not on purpose. I went to see a concert. I had an Airbnb like 4 blocks away. It's still in the Power and Light District, so on Main there.
Nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. But anyway, I was going to eat at this place called the Protein House, it's a chain, but there's like only 1 or 2 in each big city. And there's none in St. Louis, but there's one there in Kansas City. They have really good flavors and it's a lot of protein and all that kind of thing. So I'm like, this doors open at 7, show starts at 8. I'm going to get down to, and eat, somewhere between 6 and 6:30. I'm by myself. I'm a one person. I'll be done in 30 minutes if I'm, that's if I, yeah. Get an email like at 4 p.m. No, doors open at 6, shows at 7. I'm like,
Oops.
yeah. So anyway, so I didn't get to eat on Thursday anywhere. Thank God I threw a protein bar in my luggage. But then on Friday, my friend I met who lives in Lenexa, Kansas, she married after her first husband passed away and moved to Kansas City area, but she lives in Lenexa. We met and we went down to Cockrell Mercantile. I thought it was going to be like an IKEA, just the opposite. There's all these little cottages and cabins and all. Yeah, it's really interesting. But anyway, and then we ate at like one of those places where, ladies who do lunch, some
Tea room.
Tea room, yeah.
No, that's very nice. Very nice. I'm glad you had a good time.
I know. I would have liked to have stayed an extra day, but it was like, nope. I only got the one night.
No.
Okay. Well, speaking of dinner, I am out of here.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll see you guys.
All right.
Take care.
We're done, huh?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're done.
All right.
See
See
y'all
you
later.
all next.
Everybody. See you
Okay.
next week.
You guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay.
Hey,
Bye, Jeff.
thanks.